Good morning, everyone. I'm Satya. I welcome you all to this AWS Associate Level training. To receive the regular updates about this training, please do subscribe to this channel and enable the notification if you missed it. We are on day 13. In today's class, we will be covering Amazon RDS, that is Relational Database Service. It is one of the most important topics in AWS Cloud Computing. The agenda for today's class is displayed on your screen. The first topic for today is Introduction to Database and DBMS, Database Management System. Before we move on to the slide, can someone tell me what is a database? Why do we use it and where do we use it?
Database is a sort of storage device or storage place wherein we store different kinds of items such as structured data, unstructured data, and which cannot data files and video files and photos, so on.
Okay, that's a good attempt. Thank you so much. So a database is in computing is a structured collection of data that is electronically accessible and stored. Large databases are stored on computer clusters or cloud storage, whereas small databases can be stored on a file system like MS Access, DBase, etc. So similarly, we have DBMS, Database Management System. It is a software that interacts with end users, applications, and the database itself to capture and analyze the data. The administrative tools to manage the database are included in RDBMS, that is Relational Database Management System. In DBMS, the data is stored as a file, whereas in RDBMS, the data is stored in the form of tables. So there are three types of database management system models are available, which are a relational database, network database, and hierarchical database. Let us see where do we use these database types or database models. In relational database model, data is organized as logically independent tables. It stores data in two-dimensional interrelated tables, also known as relations, in which each row represents an entity and each column represents the properties of that particular entity. The best example here, we can take Oracle database and SQL database. The next database model is network data model. Here, all entities are organized in graphical representations. So this database model allows multiple records to be linked to the same owner or owner file. So the best example is IDS Integrated Data Store. The last one is hierarchical data model. Here, the data is organized into a tree-like structure. It is used in applications where high performance is required, such as telecommunications and banking. The best example will be our Windows registry. If you type regedit at the start run button, you will see the registry hives of Windows operating system. So here, Windows operating system uses this hierarchical database model. So this is the just a basic introduction about our database, what is a database and DBMS. In cloud, how we represent these database and DBMS. Let us look into that. We have the next topic, Amazon RDS. Amazon RDS is a collection of managed services that makes it simple to set up, operate, and scale databases in the cloud. Amazon RDS manages backups, software patching, automatic failure detection, and recovery. RDS is a relational database service that is easy to set up and configure. So to connect, we need the endpoint and the port number of that particular database. that used to communicate with the other devices. Also, the SQL client to access. RDS is a PaaS delivery model, as it only provides a platform or a set of tools to manage the database instances. So RDS supports three types of instance classes, such as general purpose or standard, memory optimized, and burstable performance. So just like the EC2 family types, Amazon RDS provides a selection of instance types optimized to fit different relational database used cases. So these instance types comprise a varying combination of CPUs, memory, storage, hard disk, networking capacity that gives the flexibility to choose the appropriate mix of resources for your database. So there are popular relational database engines like Amazon Aurora, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, MariaDB, Oracle, and PostgreSQL. These popular database engines are supported by Amazon RDS. What does that mean? Being a front-end tool, Amazon RDS will give access to the users to get connect to any of these database backend databases. So Amazon RDS will provide the database engine to get connect and start working. So apart from these traditional famous database engines, that is relational database engines, Amazon also own their proprietary databases. There are three databases: Amazon Aurora, Amazon Redshift, Amazon Dynamo-DB. So these three products are the direct competitors for other database services that are available in the market. It could be MySQL or Microsoft SQL, MariaDB, Oracle, PostgreSQL. All these databases, they have tough competition with Amazon's proprietary databases. So Amazon RDS has certain limitations. What are they? You can have up to 40 Amazon RDS database instances that you can run at a time. These 40 instances can be various combination. At a time, you can have 10 SQL Server or 40 SQL server at a time, or 10 SQL Server, 10 Oracle Server, maybe another 10 MySQL or MariaDB or PostgreSQL, and another 10 Oracle under bring your license model. So you can shift your instances. Suppose you are using multiple database instances. If you are using, you can select how exactly you want to manage, or maybe one single SQL server itself, you can have 40 instances running, or various combination of different database instances that you can run. The maximum ceiling is 40. So here we can see 10 of each SQL Server edition under the license included model. What does that mean? Amazon RDS itself will provide you the license. You need not to purchase the license. Okay, just like the EC2 instance, when we create, we may pick the operating system as Windows operating system or Linux operating system. That means that EC2 instance, what we have created, virtual machine, the cost, what we are paying, that cost is inclusive of the license fee of that particular operating system. Similarly, if you own your own operating system, you don't want to pay for Amazon, then you can use your license key for that operating system that you want to install, so that much cost you will reduce. So likewise here, when you are picking up the databases, you can choose whether you want to include the license by Amazon, or you want to bring your own license. Suppose you are bringing your own license, then you can have the same copy, Oracle. Here in this example, Oracle, you can have 10 copies of Oracle with the license included, and Bring your own license, another 10. As it is, the cap is Oracle only you can have 10. But if you're dividing between license included and bring your own license, then you can have additional 10 copy of Oracle. But all of them put together, the 40 number cannot cross. So still, if you wish, you can request for special approvals, permissions from Amazon. Yes, you can extend this as well. So standby instances are stored in different availability zones. So Amazon RDS, when we create an instance, maybe SQL, Oracle, or any of these database instances, Amazon RDS will create a standby instance in a different availability zone, like a backup copy, which is a physically separated independent infrastructure. So since the purpose of having a standby instance is to avoid any infrastructure failure, if at all it happens, and for backup redundancy purpose as well. That's the reason why this standby instance is created. So standby DB instance cannot be used with the primary DB instance in parallel, as it is mainly used for standby purpose only. It cannot be used unless the primary instance goes down. What does that mean? In corporate environment, we will call it as the side A and side B. Side A will be the primary database or the server. The side B will be the backup. So directly you cannot access the standby server or the side B server unless the side A or the main primary server goes down. Within nanoseconds, the side B will take over the job of primary server, and that will be active. So same time, the moment the primary server comes up, the secondary server will be isolated. Primary server will take over the job. That is how it works. So here what happens, though the standby storage, it is stored, the database instance is stored in for backup purpose in a different availability zone, we will not have direct access. That is what it is. So let us explore these database engines, what we just discussed, that is Amazon Aurora, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server. Let us explore these database services in detail. Let us see what are their advantages, disadvantages, which are all the corporate entities who are using these databases. Let us look into that. So to begin with, we have PostgreSQL. It is an advanced enterprise class open source relational database that supports both SQL, that is relational, and JSON, that is non-relational queries. So AWS supports PostgreSQL through a fully managed database service with Amazon's relational database service. So it is completely free, even to use with commercial software products. So if you wish, you can download PostgreSQL, you can set up the database, you can start using for your business or commercial purpose. There is no charge, just like Linux operating system. So some of the popular companies who are using PostgreSQL database are Netflix, Instagram, Uber, and many more Fortune 500 companies. So we can host PostgreSQL server on Amazon. From front-end tool, Amazon Relational Database RDS, we can get connect and start using the database. The next entity is MySQL. It is the most popular open source relational database, and Amazon RDS makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale MySQL deployments in the cloud. So with Amazon RDS, you can deploy scalable MySQL servers in minutes with cost efficient and resizable hardware capacity. SQL Server supports up to a maximum of 100 databases per database instance. So the previous slide, what we were looking at that 40 database cap, that same thing, we can stretch up to 100 SQL Server databases per instance. So who are all the companies using MySQL Server? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WordPress, and there are many more companies who use MySQL Server. So once again, we can host MySQL Server, database server in Amazon. Using the front-end tool Amazon RDS, we can interact, we can start using the database. So all these database are hosted on a EC2 instance. So what does that mean? While we are creating the database in Amazon Cloud, in the backend, an EC2 instance, a virtual machine is created. Inside that virtual machine, these databases are hosted. So does it mean we can do RDP or SSH to these EC2 instances that are created in the backend, have direct file level access to these databases? The answer is no. So we will not be able to do SSH or RDP to these EC2 instances. Of course, we will not have access at all. But in the backend, Amazon will create a EC2 instance. In that inside EC2 instance, these databases are hosted. The third entity is Microsoft SQL Server. So it is the Microsoft's relational database management system. It is a software product which primarily stores and retrieves data requested by other applications. So Microsoft SQL is a special purpose programming language designed to handle data in a relational database management system. So Amazon RDS supports SQL database engine in the cloud. So who are all the customers using Microsoft SQL Server? Boeing, Dell, to name few. And here one exception, except for this Microsoft SQL Server, we cannot do RDP or SSH for other databases. For this particular database, Microsoft SQL Server, since it is the GUI based, Amazon provides access to that EC2 server. That means when we are creating an instance database instance of a Microsoft SQL Server, an EC2 instance is created. Inside that, the database is hosted. We can log in RDP or SSH to that particular EC2 instance, launch the application. How exactly we launch a regular application like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Similarly, we can launch the MySQL Server, log in, and further access the database. We will explore all these things in our lab exercise, one after the another. The next fourth kind is MariaDB. This is another popular open source relational database created by the original developer of MySQL. So both MariaDB and MySQL are different in many ways. Though they are both proprietary, both are from same entity, the way both of them works is entirely different. Let us see how different it is. MariaDB has 12 storage engines, whereas MySQL has lesser storage engines. MariaDB is open source, whereas MySQL uses some proprietary code in its enterprise edition. So MariaDB does not support data masking and dynamic columns, while MySQL will support both. MariaDB works much faster than MySQL. So who are all the companies using MariaDB? Google, Mozilla, GitHub, several Linux distributions, they use it for their repositories. What is that repository? Whenever we log into our Linux virtual machine, when we want to install Apache server, we use the command yum install Apache, right? That is HTTPD. So from where do you think the software gets downloaded to your virtual machine or to your local laptop or desktop? It gets downloaded from the repository. There is a database maintained by individual Linux distributions. If you say Red Hat, they have their own server with a database of maybe 5,000, 10,000 different softwares, their patches, kernel patches, software patches, all of them are stored in this MariaDB database. So from there, it gets downloaded and gets installed. Even our Microsoft Windows, the regular Windows updates, what you get, that will be stored in a database, in a server. In that server, the database is hosted. Inside the database, all the softwares are stored, and that will be downloaded when you do a search and a request for a download or install. The last one is Oracle database. It is a multi-model database management system created and marketed by Oracle Corporation. It is a database commonly used for running online transaction processing, data warehousing, and mixed database workloads. So Amazon RDS for Oracle is a fully managed commercial database that makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale Oracle deployments in the cloud. So who are all the popular Fortune 500 companies do use Oracle database for their day-to-day operations? Companies like LinkedIn, Netflix, eBay, Citigroup, Dell, and there are many more companies. So these are all the different third-party database services which are available, supported by Amazon RDS. Same time, Amazon also, they have their own proprietary database, okay, to be a competitor in the market, to give a stiff competition for these existing products that are available. Let us explore what are they. To begin with, we have Amazon Aurora. So Amazon Aurora is a MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible relational database built for the cloud by Amazon. So this one single product, Amazon Aurora, gives a stiff competition for MySQL product as well as PostgreSQL. So as a customer, you have option to go with either you choose your database as MySQL or PostgreSQL or Amazon Aurora, depending upon your requirement and depending upon the costing, how much you save, how good between these three products, which one is good, which one is okay, reasonable, and which one is suitable for your environment. So this combines the performance and availability of traditional enterprise databases with simplicity and cost effectiveness of open source databases. So Amazon Aurora supports serverless, on-demand, and auto-scaling. What do you mean by serverless? In today's lab, when we are hosting Amazon Aurora database, we will not be creating a server. Okay, we'll not be creating a EC2 instance and then install this database software. No, straight away we'll go ahead and we'll say we need Amazon Aurora. We will deploy Amazon Aurora database. In the back end, Amazon will do all the job, creating a EC2 instance, creating a server, dedicated, non-dedicated server, whatever. But ultimately, they will provide the database access. So all we do, we'll just request for a database, log into that database and start using. So Amazon Aurora automatically starts up, shuts down, also automatically scales the capacity up or down based on the application needs. So Amazon Aurora is up to 5 times faster than MySQL database and 3 times faster than standard PostgreSQL database. So it provides a security, availability, and reliability of commercial databases at 1/10 the cost of MySQL and PostgreSQL database. So when Amazon is offering at such a steep discount price, same time this database works much faster, why do you think the customers will go for still MySQL or PostgreSQL? It is just like if 5G services are offered at the price of 2G or 3G. So why do you think customers will still go for 4G, correct? So customers will be willing to pay extra money for the new handset that supports 5G and move on to 5G network itself, correct? The same way here also. So Amazon Aurora features a distributed, fault-tolerant, self-healing storage system that auto-scales up to 64 GB per database instance. It delivers high performance and availability with up to 15 low latency read replica point in time recovery. So continuous backup to Amazon S3 and replication across 3 availability zones. So the data is completely safe and secured because Amazon Aurora in the backend automatically takes backup, stores our backup in up to 3 availability zones. And this data is stored in Amazon S3 bucket. Please make this point underline. It is one of the exam as well as interview based question. Where exactly Amazon Aurora store the data? It will store in Amazon S3 buckets, and these buckets are stored in availability zones. Up to 3 replicas it will make. How competitive is Amazon Aurora? You can see Samsung, they migrated very recently 1.1 billion users data across 3 continents from Oracle database to Amazon Aurora database. That means Oracle, they lost such a huge business to Amazon Aurora. The scalability of Aurora database is the best benefit, especially if we focus on the cost. Samsung reduced their monthly database cost by 44%. Tech Mahindra, American Red Cross, and Zendesk Incorporated are some of the companies who use Amazon Aurora database. So this is one competitive product from Amazon. There are 2 more Amazon proprietary owned databases are available. Let us explore them. The next one is Amazon Dynamo-DB. So Dynamo-DB is the serverless, fully managed, proprietary NoSQL database service offered by Amazon as a part of Amazon Web Services portfolio. So with DynamoDB, you can create database tables and can store, retrieve any amount of data and serve any level of request traffic. So it is a key value and document database that delivers single-digit millisecond performance at any scale. It is a fully managed, multi-region, multi-archive, durable database with built-in security, backup, restore, and in-memory caching for internet-based applications. So when we say in-memory caching, that means when we are creating Amazon DB, the instance, the EC2 instance, what Amazon creates, that will have huge memory capacity so that it will be able to work much faster. So DynamoDB can handle more than 10 trillion requests per day and can support peaks of more than 20 million requests per second. Imagine millions and millions of users, they are searching on Google, requesting for a specific piece of information. So that server has to interact with the backend database, right? The cached pages, the web pages, which is already cached by the Google database, it has to search so many records, so many piece of information, and put those information onto your screen, whatever the information that you had searched for. So that means here the DynamoDB can support 20 million requests per second. If there are so many users requesting for a piece of different information, same time, so at one single second rate, this many database information it can provide. It can take the query and reply back. It can give the results. So many of the world's fastest growing business, such as Samsung, Toyota, and Capital One, depends on the scale and performance of DynamoDB to support their mission critical workloads. DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service. It can be fed any type of unstructured data. Data can be data from e-commerce website as well. The data can be provided in a text file, or it could be provided in a document kind of file. It could be in a form of tables. It could be even in the form of a structured database. It can be any kind of data that will be processed and the result will be provided. So who are all the corporate companies using the services of Amazon DynamoDB? Netflix, Amazon, Zoom Communications, Disney, Dropbox, they all use Amazon DynamoDB. And even the Samsung phone is using DynamoDB for their mobile cloud backups. What does that mean? If you own a Samsung phone and if you have enabled the storage facility of Samsung, your call records, the contacts, the whatever the data that you want to upload in the cloud, that gets stored in this DynamoDB database. So this is another product, a database service available from Amazon. This is a proprietary database. We have one more database, which is called Amazon Redshift. Amazon Redshift is an AWS service, often considered the leading cloud data warehouse, which is a platform as a service provider. Amazon Redshift is fast, fully managed, petabyte scale data warehouse that makes simple and cost effective to analyze all our data and using it with business analytics and business intelligence tools, that is Power BI and Tableau especially. That means if you want to use Power BI and Tableau, maybe for learning purpose, in your laptop or desktop, it may not have enough power resources, your laptop or desktop, because it requires minimum i5 with SSD hard drive or storage with a 16 GB. Recommended is 32 GB of RAM. Most of our laptops, desktops will not have this type of configuration, right? So usually what happens while you're working with dashboards in Power BI, Tableau, it requires a lot of hardware resources. So even while learning also, it takes a lot of time to fetch the data or to reproduce the dashboards what we have created. So here, in such cases, such instances, you can create Amazon Redshift database where you can use. So all the business intelligence tools, it will fetch data from Amazon Redshift. Say, for example, the stock market. Okay, at nanosecond level, the stocks are getting traded. It is getting bought and sold. So the information has to be so fast. It has to travel between the server and the end users devices. Same time, if you want to reproduce the charts, you want to see the last 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 15 minutes candle, the stock movement. So all those things, when it need to be processed, the data has to be crunched and reproduced. These business intelligence tools that will fetch the data from Amazon Redshift database, because all these high-end data where it is mission critical, they all depend on Amazon Redshift. So Amazon Redshift engine is a SQL compliant query processing and database management system designed to support market analytics workload. So Redshift is often used for near real time to analyze the data. So Redshift analyzes database. The Redshift analytics database is designed and suited to crunch data that is running big or heavy read queries. Say, for example, million read requests per hour. So it is fully managed petabyte scale data warehouse service in Amazon Cloud. So the core infrastructure of Amazon Redshift data warehouse is a cluster, and it is composed by a leader node and a compute node. What is a leader node and a compute node? To make it simpler to understand, let us say in our corporate environment, we have a team lead. This team lead will be interacting with the reporting manager. A reporting manager will assign a job to the team lead. Okay, this job has to be completed at the end of the day. So this team lead, he will come back to his team and divide that work into a number of pieces or a chunk of work that will be assigned to each and every team team member. So all these team members, they will work, they will complete that job, hand over that job back to the team lead. Team lead will realign or reprocess that work and give the final output to the manager. That is how exactly this database works, Amazon Redshift. The leader node will take the job. That job will be split into several small pieces and will be passed on to the compute node. You can decide how many leader nodes should be there and how many compute nodes should be there. So the compute node will process all the work that will be handed over to the leader node. Leader node will give the output to the user. That is how it works. So who are all the users or the Fortune 500 companies using Amazon Redshift? It is McDonald's, Philips, Pfizer. These are some of the big names who are using Amazon Redshift database. So with this, we have reached at the end of a theory part of today's class on relational database service. Let us perform few lab exercises based on these topics, what we had gone through just now, to understand in detail. All right.